What's up, everyone? We are back with this month's breakdown of the event quest. Finally back on track. This month, obviously, is the introduction of Danny Moonstar and Lady Deathstrike, two amazing characters. Even though I didn't get Danny right coming to the game, I'm actually excited because I'm a huge fan of the New Mutants. You know, Legion, my favorite character, debuted in the New Mutants comic. And I even have the exact New Mutants run that this Danny in our game comes from. Literally this run. There she is right there with her guns. And obviously, you know, my favorite character, Legion, a part of that story. So yeah, it's pretty awesome that obviously I knew exactly when we saw Danny that outfit was from this comic, which is pretty awesome. And obviously this month's event quest literally takes place right after last month, so I mentioned that when I uploaded my video. But yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff that. It literally says in the dialogue, so I'll get to it. But yeah, so we're gonna start off at the invitation of Professor X. The Summoners joined Sunspot and Warlock in a diplomatic mission across the battle realm. In order to cross space, they quickly have borrowed a high-speed vessel to take advantage of the shortcut past Battle World. Which there's gonna be a lot of Star Wars references, or at least Star Wars themes of hyperspace and travel in space. From Krakoa, if you don't know, mutants don't just stick around in Krakoa for the past couple years. They've actually been going to space. Obviously they've fought in space for with the Shi'ar and against many other threats in the cosmos. If you don't read comics, you would know that. But with the Chrome Age, they've been on Mars and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a cool thing if you didn't know that. They have spaceships and they go to space. It's fun. Cue the warning lights begin to blink across the dashboard of his ship. Someone just dropped out of hyperspace right on top of us. Everyone hold on tight. They're coming in fast. Dude, it literally feels like they just said with our hyperdrive down to thrusters. It just feels like it feels like Star Wars. It's pretty cool. And even the voice of the rises of the speakers. Emissaries of Krakoa, surrender now. We'll consider taking you captive. Resist, and we'll leave your corpses drifting with the rest of space trash. Sunspot hits the boosters immediately, and the ship immediately launches to a direct course towards Battle World. And Warlock obviously talks like Self-Friend, Self-Friend Doug, Self-Friend Summoner, etc. So if you're wondering why he talks like that, that's just his race does that. Lady Deathstrike ship swoops past something, launches from it, crashing under the thrusters. And they're like, we were activating re-entry systems. Everyone brace for impact. Self-friend Bobby, self-friend Sumner, are you all right? Signs register as normal. Mental facilities test. How many fingers am I holding up? And he said 50. He's like, oh, sorry, I mistook your head for fingers. And Sabretooth shows up. He says you, Coppertop, me, Dangerous is where the fun lives. I've always wanted to be shot out of a cannon, which is pretty funny. And kind of like he even mentions his own special, which is a reference to Wolverine's fastball special, where he obviously is thrown by Colossus. So pretty fun reference right there. And so they land on Battle World, and he, Sunspot's like, I don't look nearly bad at Battle World does, because we'll get to it. And if you haven't read any of the cutscenes for Ramrock, I'll try to explain fastly, but it's very confusing. I'd always heard stories of the Battle World was some kind of hodgepodge planet, paradise, thriving people. This is pretty far from that. And Danny shows up, shoots an arrow at them, and kind of leads them into a cave. And she hears someone crying, and so they actually go to, basically they go deeper into this cave, and they find it's an MROC, Iron Legionnaire type of House of Iron cave, but they find a pod, and the pod is actually from Rocket. Rocket obviously put they're basically tasked by Karina to protect the World Heart. He put it in an escape pod, and then Adam Warlock accidentally hit the escape pod button, and it went away, and it lands on Battle World, and this is where they find it. So yeah, so they fight the Iron Legionnaire, Silver Centurion, and Warlock is he knows about the Asgardian artifact, and he's like, this is powerful. It's alive. It holds the power to birth a world tree, and it can repair our broken battle realm, which is probably, I think, the first time they've mentioned what the World Heart is for specifically. Gallon kind of just told us it's the key, and we've been basically tasked with protecting it for this past year. But this is the first time we know what to use it for, and it seems like to repair our broken battle realm. Whether that means, obviously we've kind of heard references here in Act 7 and 8 that the battle realm has gone through a lot of changes. And actually, with all the time travel, the portals, the dark dimension crashing into it, tons of stuff has made the battle realm worse than it is. And the Chrono Serpent has been coiling around it, making it even worse. So this definitely seems like the key. I don't know if it's the key to Chrono Serpent, but at least it seems the key to the battle realm against Galactus's, because the Galactus horde can destroy everything. They've already destroyed a whole path going to, path of destruction. And so we asked Danny kind of what she thinks and what she knows, and she says it's been tough to piece together. I managed to get broad world of history, mostly from old video logs and data caches. If you've read MRoc, if you played MRoc, there are a lot of logs. You could actually click on the lore of the game and read through that, and even Anathi, her videos on it, which were pretty awesome. You can find those on my channel. Battle Road used to be filled with own inhabitants, champions, enslaved to the whims of the Maestro, not unlike the folks of the contest. Obviously, the Maestro, yes, he enslaved people of the contest. Act 4, we defeat him. And then after Act 4, he goes to MRoc, and then he enslaves MRoc. And then, obviously, there's a cutscene where he... it's very strange, but basically time travel. I'll say time travel, right? So we time travel back, and they defeat the Maestro. But he was killed in one time. Like, it's very confusing. Like, he was killed, and then we were sent there to find out who killed him. And what's been happening, and then Anathi and the rest of the thing, they go back in time and then defeat the Maestro a different way, and then that's kind of like why there's a timeline difference, and it's very interesting. And then a few years back, they rebelled and reclaimed the planet, but their peace didn't last long because a Galactus variant arrived and they fought back against it. They say they fought back against it, but more so the Chronosurfing showed up, and then we used the Galactus to fight the Chronosurfing. So not necessarily it was the Galactus that destroyed it, because obviously if you've seen that cutscene, you know what happened, and it was Chronosurfing versus Galactus that destroyed the planet. So I'm wondering if Danny kind of has the wrong idea, or if this is just the way they wanted to explain it. But yeah, basically they fought, and the planet is just cracked and destroyed in a barren wasteland, so everyone had to leave. And obviously we haven't seen where they've been to. Like, there's not a reference to, where they went to. It's just they're in the contest. They're like, literally the cutscene ends with saying, have you ever heard of the Contest Champions? Because that's where we're going. And then not a single one of those characters have shown up yet. We've just had definitely references to them. So hopefully we get something soon. I'm guessing once the Galactus storyline is finished, that's when we're going to move on to the Chronosurfing storyline, or at least continue it from Act 8. And that's when we'll actually have the MRoc characters show up and help out, I think. And yeah, so and she even mentions, some people, stayed because, a lot of people, they're not used to change. They want to stay in their planet, their home, and so that's why we fight a Silver Centurion here. 3 immense shadows eclipsing the setting sun, and the heroes reach a mountaintop. Sabretooth and Mega Red lead Deathstrike reported to Casa, we simply have to stop meeting this way. Alright, seed that looks like the world seed, the Kree are looking for, which obviously, Ronan was looking for in the last month. He hired a bunch of mercenaries to go find it, which obviously Lady Deathstrike and her mercenary team now are going to buy into that. We'll hurry and find them. Captors get fed up. Roberto's smart. Halaki remarks, stay close, Summoner. Last thing I need is you to get scooped up. Silent type, gotcha. Sorry, I thought I heard a voice. Never mind. Danny. She's hearing voices, which obviously us who read dialogue can read it, but for her, she's hearing it in her brain. Your fear followed you here. And fear is really tied to her, her powers to create illusions. In the comics, most of it when she first started was nightmare illusions, and she had a whole thing against fear with the Demon Bear, who is a character who weirdly, people have asked, like, why isn't Demon Bear coming to the game? Why isn't she a part of Mirage or Danny? And it's because Demon Bear technically is a different character. I don't know if you guys have seen the Mutants character, the Mutants movie, but in that, Danny created the Demon Bear. But in the comics, that's not the case. The Demon Bear is just a character that messes with Danny, kills her parents, and kind of like messes with people around that. It's not really a character, like, it's not really her, which is kind of why. But Contest they hired an artist to make some art of her, so that was really cool. But besides that, that's why Demon Bear doesn't show up, is because it's not her. It's only in the movies. Alright, so it looks like there's a camp of Black Panthers up ahead, which obviously we know is going to be Droid Panther. And that's how Battle works. It's variants, groups, variants, you get used to it. And yeah, man, I love the Black Panther variants. Obviously, we only have one in the game, which is Black Panther, but there were some cool outfits. I love, like, the royal outfit for the Black Panther. I'm the one who rocked that. It's pretty cool. If you remember what T'Challa's father wore, T'Chaka, in the MCU, that's basically my Black Panther, is what she wore. As for you, clear spies Pyramid X. And she's like, they had this whole rivalry when obviously there's this whole rivalry against the houses. And so she's like, you're a spy. This is funny. So Danny says, never tell me the odds. There's a shortcut through the Paladin Mines, which is obviously a reference again to Star Wars. Never tell me the odds, Han Solo says. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. All right, back into Iron Man's grotto. Are you serious? There's no other way, Bobby. I could have noticed you're clutching the seed pretty tightly. Danny, it's coming for you. You cannot escape it. Yeah, it's like very interesting that this is happening, Danny. You think the seed is talking to her, but it's not. It's talking very diabolical. As Danny shouts inside the mind, it grows longer. Just like sinister. Don't tell me to relax. As Danny screams, echoes through the mind. The shadows morph into a nightmarish clone of champions and descend on the party of heroes. The heroes break into a dead sprint through the sprawling mind with horde of nightmare champions hot on their heels. I mean, I'd love to see that animated, man. Can you imagine we got a Mojo comic for this month? Oh, man, it would have been beautiful. Self-friend Danny is generating above average levels of psionic energy. Their vital signs have spiked, and obviously her powers are psionic. You know, her bow, her arrow, and a bunch of other things. Thank you, Warlock. Danny, are you having panic attack? Or are these things weird projections? Because they're definitely not mine. Danny, what, you haven't spawned nightmare monsters in years. What, is this why you're on Battle World? No, it's not. It's not that. None of this matters. Tell me, Daddy, tell them the truth. I've never seen like this much dialogue so bright, like big on the screen. It's funny. I couldn't handle it, Bobby. The fighting, the multiverse, the many me's. Even Krakoa doesn't feel right. None of it is home. After enough time, I just couldn't take it. Staring in the faces of a million Danny Moonstars, the infinite void of the battle realm. And that's kind of cool. Is like, you know, characters who connect to the psionic part of of powers is like she can connect to these other versions of her as they share. And that's gonna be very, very, especially when you have like the astral plane. Characters like Jean Grey. Like it's like, man, I don't know if I'd want to connect to all that. I ran like a coward. I hid here in desolate rock, middle of nowhere. No one could find me. None of us will ever escape this place. I can't run problems, Danny, but we can stand and face them. We don't always have to do that alone. And then you see basically a shadow Danny. I guess up out, same as you. You're wrong, I'm wrong, things are bad, I'm not going to ignore that, but that doesn't mean I have to wallow in this pity. There's going to be days where you face those days alone anymore. I've officially had every battle world of 1 star, the shoddy autumn vacation, poor weather, and lousy local nightlife. Vegetation, self was unsure if battle world could support life anymore. Scanners indicate intense soil erosion and degradation. I think battle old planets still have a few tricks up its sleeve. What do you think, CD? Yeah, so basically Danny fights an evil version of herself, and that's why the voices are there. And we move back to fighting Lady D, and you'll have to watch your friends die while I shared you both. And so we fight Lady D, and then we kind of get this this ending of the event, which is together they restrain Death Strike, load up Danny's shuttle, and prepare to take off. He said, you think of the safe leaving Lady D down there, and I just feel bad for the Battle Worlders. There's one thing I've learned from my time down here is that Battle World can take care of itself. Danny risks excited if glance the World Seed trapped snugly into its seat. And who knows, maybe he could take her something else at the same time. Affirmative, not friendly. Dirk has a high chance of survival in Battle World. Besides, some folks need time to decide for themselves whether they want to burn the world down or rebuild it better from the rubble. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think this is kind of interesting to kind of get what's going. And she says she sees a side glance at the world seat trapped snugly into its seat. So obviously, I'm assuming this is in the spacecraft with them, and they're leaving with the world seed. They're not leaving on Battle World because obviously I don't think it can grow on Battle World. So obviously they're going to take it somewhere where it can start to grow the world tree. So that's pretty interesting. I'm excited to see where the story continues, man. Like, this is a really, we're getting closer to defeating Galactuses, the Galactuses, because there's not just one. There's one from that destroyed M-Rock Battle World with the Chrono Serpent, which we haven't got that version of the Chrono Serpent yet. We just got his minions, obviously Bahamut and Citalis, and then there's obviously I forgot what the Punisher was called. It was like Glycark or something. And obviously the Chrono Serpent head himself, which obviously I think are future Act 8 bosses. So, don't necessarily think this World Heart, I'm sure it's going to play into that storyline, but I think for right now we're going to focus on Galactus variants for the EQ and then leave the Chrono Serpent for the actual Act content. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty excited to see where the story continues, and obviously love to see Danny Moonstar come to the game. Let a Dish Strike. Yeah, hope you guys had a great time for this event quest, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.